So good morning, all of you. We have started with the history chapter, that is from trade to territory. So yesterday we had discussed about how East India Company came to India, from which side it came, and then when it came, so which were the other companies who were already in link with India and they were doing trade. So they felt that they are facing competition from other companies. Okay, so can anyone recapitulate the things? If anybody understood anything from yesterday's lecture, you can raise your hands if anybody wants to recapitulate, if anybody wants to speak. Then I'll come to know that if you have understood or not. Okay, Nishka, yes.
uh, Trade to territory in this chapter, uh, that Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler. When he died in 1707, all the things changed.
Yes. So what happened
Many
after?
many traders from different countries like Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British came to India to trade. Britishers came from eastern side. They wanted to, as all the other traders from different countries were also there. So uh, the India raised the prices, and the Britishers were not happy with this. So they fortified the area, and there were battles
They
between
blocked the
them.
ships, they destroyed their ships.
And there were battles between them. One and then they took the zamindari rights also.
Yes. And they were exploiting the Farman also, which was issued by Aurangzeb. So in that only the company was given the tax-free trade. Only they were allowed to do tax-free trade, but they were exploiting it by doing private trade also in between. So private trade in the private trade they had to pay the taxes, but they refused to pay the taxes and other things
They
also they protested. So this is how the conflicts between the Nawabs and the company took place. Okay. So then after what happened? So this conflict between the Nawabs and the you can say and the company intensified, and this led to Battle of Plassey. Okay, so Battle of Plassey, when did Battle of Plassey take place? It took place in 1757. Very important dates are these two. These two wars, Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, are very important battles. If you will go and see, it is not only that you are studying it for syllabus for social science, but if you want to clear competitive exams, IAS, IPS, you need to study all these things for clearing IAS, IPS. And these are very common questions which are asked there, that when was Battle of Plassey fought, when was Battle of Buxar fought. So these two battles, you just feed it in your mind. Battle of Plassey 1757, Battle of Buxar 1764. Battle of Buxar we will study today. Okay, so Battle of Plassey was fought in 1757 between Sirajuddaulah and the company. Okay, Sirajuddaulah and the company. So then, but unfortunately, Sirajuddaulah was not able to win the battle. Why? Because I told you one reason was there. Can anyone tell me the reason why Sirajuddaulah was defeated in the war, in Battle of Plassey? Okay, I will ask from Jashan. Yes, Jashan.
He was betrayed.
Yes, he was betrayed. He was betrayed by whom? What was the name of his commander in army?
Mir Jafar.
Mir Jafar.
Mir Jafar, yes. Mir Jafar was the commander in this Sirajuddaullah's army, but he did not fight the war because he was lured by the Robert Clive. Who was Robert Clive? Robert Clive was sent by the company from England to lead the war. Okay, so he was leading the war from company's side, Robert Clive. He came, but then he took this, he manipulated them and he adopted this divide and rule policy, and he lured Mir Jafar. He gave him the promise that he would be the next Nawab if he would help them in defeating Sirajuddaula. So that's why he was betrayed by Mir Jafar. So then this Sirajuddaula was defeated, and the company you can say dominated more, and they intensified their power in the territories. And after what happened, so what happened after the Battle of Plassey, today we are going to study that. Okay, so on page number 14, I hope all of you have read up to page 13. I told you to read it. Yes, is there any doubt? Yes.
Ma'am, can you please explain divide and rule policy?
Divide and rule policy, it is so simple. Divide means, see what? If anybody, how can I give the example? The example is given already. What did they did in Battle of Plassey? They divided them. They divided because otherwise Sirajuddaula and Mir Jafar, they were in one army, right? So the company divided them. How they were able to divide them? They always try to bribe them. They always try to lure them that if you will give our side, if you will fight from our side, we will give you this much amount of money, or we will give you this rulership. So these kind of things were given to the people of India only to divide them and to betray them with their own people. So that's how they were able to rule the Indians. Okay, they adopted this divide and rule policy, means they lured the Indian people only, they gave them some amount of money or something. So the people were, the Nawabs, they were easily taken away with that, and they betrayed their own people, and this is how the company was able to rule that area or territory. So this is how they were able to annex, they were able to win more and more territories and just spread their power. So that was the divide and rule policy. They divided the people and then they ruled them. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so let us see what happened after the Battle of Plassey. So I'm unmuting you all. So if any doubt is there, you can raise hands. And just remind me to send Google Form once again in the last, okay, if I forget. Okay, so where we were. At the same time, you must open your books also. Yes, those who are raising hand, is there any doubt? Okay, if there is no doubt, please lower your hand. Otherwise, I will unmute you. Wait. Yes, Jashan. Jashan, is there any doubt? Okay, so now no raised hands are there. In between, if it comes, we will see that. Okay, so this is just a recapitulation. Okay, so from trade to territory. Just wait. Okay, so East India Company was a trading company. In 1600, they acquired the permission from Queen Elizabeth, and they got the sole right to trade with India, and they came to India and they were interested in buying what? They were interested in buying cotton, silk, pepper, cloves, cardamom, cinnamon. You know what is cinnamon? Cinnamon is dalchini. Cardamom is elaichi. Cloves are long. Pepper is that mirch, kali mirch or lal mirch. Silk, you know, cotton, you know. Okay, so these were the spices which were well grown in India that time. So they were interested in buying these things, but already there were other companies. French was there, Dutch was there, Portuguese were there. So they felt competition. So they wanted to destroy them. They started destroying their ships, blockaded the routes. They built forts along the sea routes. And then what happened? So then they asked for Farman from the Aurangzeb so that they can trade duty free. So, but they started exploiting it. They started refusing to pay the taxes. There was a misuse of Farman. So that led to enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. Bengal revenue went very down. So then on this reason, the Nawabs were very unhappy and then they started protesting. Okay, so then the conflicts arise and this slowly led to the Battle of Plassey. So Battle of Plassey took place between the company and the Sirajuddaulah. So Sirajuddaulah, he lost the war because by the betrayal of Mir Jafar. Okay. Then what happened? So events after the Battle of Plassey. So after the Battle of Plassey, Sirajuddaulah was assassinated. Means Sirajuddaulah was killed and Mir Jafar was made the Nawab. Why Mir Jafar was made the Nawab? Because company wanted a puppet ruler. उनको एक ऐसा ruler चाहिए था जो उनके according काम करे. Okay, so company was not interested in ruling India. That time company was interested more in trade, not in taking over the administration. Means they did not want to rule the parts, rule the territories, but they only wanted to expand their trade. Company found it difficult to work with puppet Nawab also. So this puppet Nawab was Mir Jafar. Okay, so that time this Mir Jafar also, the company found it difficult to work with him also because sometimes they were asking more tax from them. So something was there which did not make the company happy. So because basic appearance of dignity and sovereignty was to be maintained, and due to this they were not as helpful as company wanted them to be. Because see, whatever the situation was, though they were lured by the company, I'm talking about Mir Jafar, but still they had to maintain some respect. उनको at least अपने Indians के सामने कुछ respect तो बनानी थी. So that's why they had to be little harsh with the company. But so that's why the company, they did not like the puppet ruler also. So they felt that the puppet rulers, they were also facing problems with the trade. So this turned into another battle. So one more battle took place there. So which was that battle? That was Battle of Buxar. Okay. So Battle of Buxar took place in 1764 on page number 14, third paragraph. Third paragraph, third line. Underline this line. So when Mir Qasim explained, so now who was Mir Qasim now? There is one more addition here. So see what could the company do when Mir Jafar protested? So Mir Jafar was not in the favor of the company now. The company deposed him because company ने ही उसको नवाब बनाया था. Company ने उसको deposed कर दिया and installed Mir Qasim in his place. Now who was Mir Qasim? Mir Qasim was Mir Jafar's son-in-law. Write down there. Small words you can write down there. That who was Mir Qasim? Mir Qasim was Mir Jafar's son-in-law. Okay. Then what happened? So when Mir Qasim explained, so they deposed Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar को हटा के Mir Qasim को नवाब बना दिया. But Mir Qasim was also not nice with him for a long time. So then he also started complaining. So when Mir Qasim complained, he in turn was defeated in a battle fought at Buxar in 1764. So this was the second battle that took place after the Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey, Sirajuddaulah versus company in 1757. Then Battle of Buxar took place in 1764 between Mir Qasim and the company. Okay, so then after that, so and Mir Jafar was reinstalled. So when Mir Qasim, so they were doing these kind of experiments. ठीक है, इसको नवाब बना दो, इसका behavior देखो. Then after change to him. So these kind of powers they had that time because they were huge. The Nawab had to pay rupees 5 lakh every month. Okay, so what happened? So Mir Qasim was defeated and again Mir Jafar was reinstalled in the Battle of Buxar. So what happened after the Battle of Buxar? Battle of Buxar के बाद क्या हुआ? So Battle of Buxar, so this kind of scene is there of Battle of Buxar, you can see in your book also. Now see, after the Battle of Buxar, the reinstallation of Mir Jafar was there. Okay, so पहले Mir Jafar था, Mir Jafar को हटा के Mir Qasim को बना दिया. Mir Qasim से भी नहीं बनी, उससे Battle of Buxar में हो गया. Then again Mir Jafar was reinstalled. Okay, he was forced to pay rupees 5 lakh every month to the company. So Mir Jafar को force किया गया that you have to pay this much amount every month to the company. and company still wanted more. Company को और ज़्यादा पैसा चाहिए था to expand their trade and to flourish more and more. So thus by the time Mir Jafar died in 1765, the mood of the company had changed. So now slowly they started thinking that why are we making Indians Nawabs क्यों Indians को Nawabs क्यों बना रहे हैं हम खुद ही क्यों नहीं Nawab बन जाते हैं. So then Robert Clive declared that we must indeed become Nawabs ourselves. That why are we begging them? Why are we requesting them for giving us permissions and taxes and all? So we have the power. Why don't we become Nawabs here? So in 1765, Mughal emperor appoints the company as the Diwan of the province of Bengal. So then in 1765, under lot of pressure, because Mughals were not in the favor of making them Nawabs, but they were under pressure because they were becoming more and more powerful. Company was becoming more powerful because they were coming people of the company were coming from the England. Okay, so they were becoming more and more in number, and they were having the arms and ammunitions, the guns and all, everything they had of superior from Indians. Indians were, though that time, if you go in 1700 era, so that time education was not there. Okay, so English people, they were more educated, they were more diplomatic, they knew how to rule them, they know how to divide Indians. So they were playing all their games, dirty games they were playing in India. So then Mughal emperor appoints the company as the Diwan of the province of Bengal. And after, what do you mean by Diwan? Means when they were made Diwan, so after getting this Diwani, they were able to take taxes and civil cases they were able to handle. So now they started collecting taxes from the people. कि earlier they came only for trade, ठीक है, वो सिर्फ सामान खरीदने आए थे, and they used to give money to Indians, but now they are taking the goods also with them, and they are taking the money also from the people. So everything went to England, the goods also and the money also. So that's why we became so poor. India became poor country that time. Earlier it was known कि India was known as golden bird, सोने की चिड़िया बोला जाता था. But after they took money also, they took the goods also, they took gold also, everything the Britishers took from India. So that's why India became a poor country that time. Okay. Okay, so what happened? Events after the Battle of Buxar, after acquiring Diwani rights, जब company को Diwani rights मिल गए, so company used the vast resources of Bengal. उन्होंने बंगाल के resources को use करना शुरू कर दिया. This created the huge loss of resources. What were the resources? Resources were the fine cotton, fine silk, the spices, the goods, the money, the gold, everything. The whole lot resources of Bengal were there. So they started using it. So this created the huge loss of resources. तो बंगाल की तो revenue बहुत loss में चली गई. So what happened? Trade before the Battle of Plassey and Diwani rights. की Battle of Plassey से पहले और Diwani rights जब तक कंपनी को नहीं मिले थे, उसके पहले क्या होता था? Indian goods were going, okay, Indian goods were going to Britain, and gold and silver from the Britain was coming to India. Okay, so this exchange process was there before Battle of Plassey and before company got the Diwani rights. But what happened after the Battle of Plassey and when the company got the Diwani rights? Indian goods were also going to Britain, and gold and silver also they started using the resources of Bengal, that also started going to Britain. So both the things started going to Britain. That means we became poor. India became poor. So now the revenue from India was used to finance company expenses, trade, maintaining troops, building fort, all was done on the Indian money. So everything they were doing with our money only. They came from England, they came as aliens, they came in the name of trade, but now they were not giving anything to India. They are taking the goods also, they are taking the money also. They were using our money only to build their forts and maintaining troops and trade. So see how cruel they were. So this was their policy, how diplomatic they were at that time. So what are Nawabs? Nawabs means the powerful man at that time. Okay, so they called themselves nabobs. Company officials became nabobs. It is there on page 14. Heading is there. Company officials become nabobs. So nabobs is not any different term. Nabobs means nawab. So in India, we call them Nawabs, but the Britishers, they have little twist in the language, so they call themselves as Nabobs. So Nabob, each company servant began to have vision of living like Nawabs. So they started calling themselves as Royal Nawabs. So after Battle of Plassey, the company officials began to acquire vast sum of money and gifts from Nawabs of Bengal and created their fortune in India. Now see start what started happening. They started collecting taxes from the people. So they by collecting huge amount of taxes, they started making their empire. So they started becoming more powerful. They used to take precious gifts from Nawabs of Bengal and created their fortune in India. Means they started living royal, luxurious life in India only. Example, Robert Clive. So who was Robert Clive? Robert Clive was a leader of the army in Battle of Plassey from the company side. So Robert Clive made an Indian fortune of how much it is, you can count. I think 4 lakh pounds. So this much amount of fortune he made in India from the Indian money only by collecting gifts from the Nawabs or by collecting taxes from the people. Okay. So, but what happened? The fortune of Robert Clive was not as much good. After the Battle of Plassey, the actual Nawabs of Bengal were forced to give land. I'm reading from page 15, the top line. After the Battle of Plassey, the actual Nawabs of Bengal were forced to give land and vast sums of money as personal gifts to company officials. Means they were taking gifts, but gifts is given as per the wish, but they were forced to give. The company forced the Nawabs to give them gifts and vast sums of money. Robert Clive himself amassed a fortune in India. He had come to Madras from England in 1743 at the age of 18. So at the age of 18, he came in India. When in 1767, he left India, his Indian fortune was worth 4 lakh pounds. In between this short period, he made a fortune. He made you can say, his, what do we call, the treasure, the 4 lakh pounds. Interestingly, when he was appointed governor of Bengal in 1764, he was asked to remove corruption in company administration. उसको बोला गया था कि तुम्हें corruption हटानी है कंपनी से, but he was himself cross-examined. So when his treasure was cross-examined in 1772 by the British Parliament, which was suspicious of his vast wealth, because how can any person in a short period of time can make such a huge wealth? So that's why he was under suspicion. So he was, though he was acquitted, means usko chhod diya gaya tha, but he committed suicide in 1774. He himself did that. Okay. However, they say that not all सारे ऐसे नहीं थे, so सारे रॉबर्ट क्लाइव जैसे नहीं थे. Not all company officials succeeded in making money like Clive. Many died early deaths in India due to disease and wars. That time medical facilities were not there, so much pronounced were not there. So not all were corrupt and dishonest. It was not like that कि सारे के सारे जो Britishers थे, they were all not good. So some were good also. Many came from humble background also. Some people were good also. But you know that if out of 100, 1 or 2 are good, so that will not make any difference. Okay. So not all were bad, some were good also. But as I told you that if out of 100, 2 are good, so that will not make any difference. So then what happened? So slowly the company rule expanded. Okay, the period between 1757, when the Battle of Plassey took place, and up to 1857. 1757 to 1857 means almost 100 years. So in this period, how the company rule expanded. So expansion of the company rule by the annexation of Indian states. Annexation means taking over. They were gradually taking over all the Indian states. They were flourishing their power. They came in the Bengal. Okay, they came towards the eastern side. Then they went south also. South में Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali was there. That also we will study. So how they were able to defeat Tipu Sultan. Then slowly they went to northwest area also. They were afraid that Russia might enter from the northwest side. So then they headed towards northwestern side also. There they defeated Afghanistan, Sindh, then slowly Punjab was also taken over. Then see how means the whole chain. They entered from Kolkata and then they went to south side. South states were also acquired by them. Then they slowly went to northwestern side. Then that side were also India's. So almost whole of India was annexed by them, were taken over by them slowly but there were so many policies which they were adopted because it was not so easy to annex the Indian states. So that we are going to study now, that what were the policies that were adopted by them. So but company rarely launched the direct military attack. कभी वो direct attack नहीं करती थी company. Company used a variety of political, economic and diplomatic methods in the process of annexation. Means उनके अलग ही means they used to adopt political means, economic वो उनकी politics में घुस जाते थे. They used to interfere in their political affairs of the Nawabs. Then economic, money, give and take, diplomatic methods, divide and rule policies were adopted by them so that they can annex more and more territories. So what happened after the Battle of Buxar in 1764? Company appointed residents in Indian states. Underline this word, residents. Page number 15, last paragraph. Last paragraph, after the Battle of Buxar in 1764, the company appointed residents in Indian states. So this was just to interfere in the political affairs, okay? Okay, just wait. I thought I'm disconnected, but I'm still there. Yes. So I'm telling you that after the Battle of Buxar, company appointed residents. Now, who were these residents? Residents, they were political agents. Okay, they were agents whose work was to serve the interest of company, and with the help of them, company interfere in the internal matters of the Indian state. So they were political. It is written here who were residents. Underline this line. They were political or commercial agents appointed by the company. कंपनी ने अपॉइंट किए थे रेजिडेंट्स इंडियन स्टेट्स के अंदर कि उनकी जो खुफिया जानकारी है, द सीक्रेट इंफॉर्मेशन टू टेक आउट फ्रॉम द नवाब्स एंड ऑल, एंड देयर जॉब वाज टू सर्व एंड फर्दर द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द कंपनी. Through the residents, the company officials began interfering in the internal affairs of Indian states. So they were not having the right to do so, but they wanted to know that what they are more planning against us. So that's why they appointed these residents. They tried to decide who was to be successor to the throne. Means forcefully they were interfering in the political matters of the Nawabs and the rulers, that who will be the next successor and these kind of things. So policies such as subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse and policy of paramountcy. So three important policies we are going to study now. You need to understand them. क्या थी ये policies and what effect these policies had on the Indian states. Subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse and policy of paramountcy. So the first policy is subsidiary alliance. Okay, subsidiary alliance. This policy was institutionalized by, or you can say implemented by, Richard Wellesley. Okay, Richard Wellesley, who was he? He was Governor General from the period 1798 to 1805. It is given on page 16, the first paragraph. Okay, subsidiary force. So it was, it is written here in brackets. Richard Wellesley was Governor General from 1798 to 1805. So now what is the subsidiary alliance? Try to understand. Subsidiary alliance में क्या होता था? Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. कि जो इंडियन रूलर्स थे, जो मुगल रूलर्स थे, जो नवाब थे, उनको अलाउ नहीं किया जाता था कि वो अपनी फौज रख सके, अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट आर्म्ड फोर्सेस रख सके. because they were not allowed, they were under the pressure of the company. So this was these kind of policies. So this was the first policy which was implemented by the company, that Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. If they wanted protection, if they wanted the army, if they wanted the protection, so they had to ask the company and they had to take the army from the company. ठीक है, वो अपनी आर्मी नहीं बना सकते थे, उनको अलाउड नहीं था. इफ दे वांटेड प्रोटेक्शन फ्रॉम एनी अदर रूलर और एनी अदर इन्वेडर, सो देन दे हैड टू आस्क द आर्मी फ्रॉम द कंपनी. According to the terms of this alliance, ruler had to pay for the subsidiary forces. Now, if they are asking the army from the company, for that they had to pay huge amount of money. Are you understanding subsidiary lines? Subsidiary lines means Indian rulers were not allowed to have their army, and if they wanted protection, if they wanted army, they had to ask from the company, and for that they had to pay huge amount of money. So they were protected by the company. Company placed their army in kingdom. कि कंपनी से उनको आर्मी मांगनी होती है और उसके लिए they had to pay also. Now there was one more condition. If the Indian rulers failed to make payment, the payment which they had to pay to the company for asking this army for the protection, so if the Indian rulers failed to make payment, then part of their territory was taken as penalty. So उन्हीं की टेरिटरी में से उनका पार्ट अपने अंडर कंपनी कर लेती थी इफ इंडियन रूलर्स फेल्ड टू मेक द पेमेंट. कि अगर उनकी पेमेंट नहीं करते थे उनकी आर्मी देने के लिए, सो देन दे यूज टू take over the part of their territory. So this was also, see what kind of clever policy was it. Means without having a direct fight, direct war, they were taking over the territories by implementing these kind of policies. कि अगर वो उनकी इतनी ज्यादा पेमेंट होती थी, they were not able to pay sometime. So if they were not able to pay, so the part of their territory was taken by the okay. So see, these are so interesting policies to study. So subsidiary lines, I hope it is clear that Indian rulers, they were not allowed to have their own army, and they had to pay for the army which they have to take from the company for the protection, and if they fail to make the payment, then the part of their territory was taken as penalty. And it happened also. Example, Nawab of Awadh was forced to give over half of his territory to the company in 1801. Similarly, Hyderabad was also forced to cede its territories on similar grounds, because this amount was so huge that the Nawabs were not able to pay sometimes. So that's why their territory was easily taken over by the company. So this was subsidiary alliance. Fine.
Ma'am, Mysore.
Rajasthan was
Mysore.
which part of India?
I'm southern part of.
Yes, from the southern part. So southern part was ruled by Tipu Sultan, and his father's name was, what was the name of Tipu Sultan's father? Hyder Ali. Okay, Hyder Ali.
Ma'am,
Hyder.
Hyder Ali.
Yes.
Hyder Ali.
And then Tipu Sultan. So now at times what happened? The company resorted, I'm reading of Tipu Sultan paragraph. The company resorted to direct military confrontation when it saw threat to its political or economic interests. Okay, so Tipu Sultan we will study next time, because I think only 1 minute is left. Okay, so if there is any doubt from the part that we have covered, you can ask, or you can note down it and you can ask in the next class also. So I want you to read now page number 14, 15 and 16. Okay, read this Tipu Sultan paragraph also. This very interesting story of Tipu Sultan. So he was very powerful ruler. He was not defeated in one war. 3-4 successive wars were fought between the company and the Tipu Sultan. Then finally he was defeated. Finally Tipu Sultan was defeated, and that also there was a reason behind that. That why was Tipu Sultan defeated? Because he was a very powerful ruler. So company was also facing threats from Tipu Sultan, and You can see here one figure 9 is there. Figure 9 is Tipu's toy tiger. So this is a real